Yo, test it then. It's yours truly, Maddness KMA, and I'm back once again with another exclusive Garage Report. Welcome back to all viewers and subscribers. If you're new to the channel, please do make sure you give us a subscribe, like, share the videos out. It really does help the algorithm. Leave a comment down below in the section so you can get involved and become part of the Report family. I say it so many times, this is the encyclopedia of house and garage history, as well as the new school that we do push when we've got it. But again, there's so many foundation members that I feel needs to get highlighted and represented from the UK perspective of how great they are and their influence, their contribution to the garage culture, the garage music genre. And if they're a pillar in their own rights, then they need to get represented and put inside the all-important Garage Hall of Fame. So today, you've seen the thumbnail, and I keep going into it as in like to try and make it all mysterious and you ain't gonna know what I'm talking about, but I forget, I do the artwork, so you would know who it is. And also, from the day before the episode drops on a Wednesday on the Pirate Chronicles series channel, then you've seen the trailers, which is the Maddify versions of what's about to happen in my chosen 4 of the series episode. So you know who it is. It's Todd the God Edwards. Now let's go back to that coin in the phrase of who said that first. Where did it come from? Well, if I told you, you wouldn't actually believe me, because the way the narrative has changed over the years, you would just say, yeah, right, man, yeah, right. Okay, cool. But I'll tell you where the sound was discovered. Now this is separating the facts from the fiction. You know, come with me. I always say this all the time inside the Garage Report. You know, I talk about Freak FM a lot because that was in my DNA, and that is where it started for everyone. Let's get it right. Freak FM back in the day, North London based, but we got out North, South, East and West, and we curated a sound that was pushing it out there to the masses. Nobody on the FM dial was doing what we was doing. That's facts, right? Yeah, cool. We've established that. The tapes are there to prove it. From the beginning of the house and garage movement, we was playing US artists. Now, who was we playing? We was playing the sounds of Masters at Work. What? Well, yeah, leave the comment down below. Yes, please. Thank you, Report family. Leave the comment down below. Who was the US producers that we was playing in the early inception of house and garage when it came over to the UK? So in London, we liked the sound. We loved what Masters at Work was doing. We loved what Victor Simonelli was doing. We loved what Kerry Chandler was doing, the sounds of MK. And of course, Todd Edwards. Now, Todd Edwards was a house producer from New Jersey who had a different sound to what we've ever heard before. Now, in fact, I'll let the voiceover do a bit more going inside that. But drop your comments down below, Report family. Yes, you and we will get through this. Me and you personally, we got this, right? Todd Edwards is featuring in today's voiceover section, which is the all-important section that you need to know about. Because why? It gives you the in-depth information summarized of the greatness. Todd Edwards voiceover.
Garage Report voiceover featuring in season 2 this week, Todd the God Edwards. Born and raised in New Jersey, Todd Edwards isn't just a producer, he's a sonic architect, a spiritual craftsman, and one of the most influential figures in the history of UK garage. Long before the scene exploded in London, Todd was flipping samples in a way no one had ever heard before. We had the sounds of MK, who also had a similar type of sound, but when it came to Todd, this was unique and resonated with us in the UK, especially in London back in the Freak FM days. Chopping vocal lines into rhythmic, melodic textures and turned house music into something divine. His style, a fusion of gospel, garage, house and soulful cut-ups, laid the foundation for the 4/4 and later two-step influences in the movement over here in the UK. Even though he was thousands of miles away, DJs and producers across the UK would hunt down Todd's white labels and remixes, treating each one like gospel without ever setting foot in the UK scene at first. Todd became one of the house and garage pillars from its inception, but his talents didn't go unnoticed outside the underground. In 2001, he collaborated with Daft Punk on the track Face to Face from the Discovery album, and a song that will go on the top of the Billboard dance charts. He later reunited with French duo on Fragments of Time for their Grammy-sweeping album, Random Access Memories, bringing his voice and vision to an entirely new generation. With a career spanning over 3 decades, Todd Edwards continues to inspire, from remixing garage classics to mentoring young producers. His blueprint remains all over the genre, and while the scene may shift and evolve, one thing stays the same: Todd Edwards would always be a cornerstone of the garage sound.
Back on the other side of that voiceover, and it's very important to listen to the voiceover. Don't skip over those parts, and then when the adverts start to play, don't skip those neither. Let them play so we can get some revenue right here. All the relevant links for the channel and my socials are down below in the description and pinned in the first comment as well, so you cannot miss it. It's also got that important donate link.
If you want to donate to the channel and help us to rise to what the level should be, because we need new equipment, we need new stuff. I definitely need a new laptop. If you will only be, in fact, you probably wouldn't believe it.
My laptop that I use is an Apple Mac. I love my Apple MacBook. Apple Mac is amazing. Yes, it's on the levels that it's been going through thick and thin through all before I moved out of London. And I've had this same MacBook. It's been going from strength to strength. But it's old. And I can't update because I've even got to the stage now, I'll tell you what, which is funny. It won't let me watch Netflix. It's telling me my browser's too old. It's that old. Yes, it's 2011. So if you would like to donate to the channel to let me get a new MacBook, then please do so. Or if you want to buy me a coffee or a Supermalt, then it's all love, manners, and respect. The link's down below in the description. So there you have it there. The description that gives you the summarize of Todd Edwards' early career, as well up to date to the Grammy award-winning producer that he is. An outstanding producer. So go back to it again, like I was starting on the intro. We had that sound that we was playing from the US. Let me let you know. The gritty side of it is what we resonated with, and we would play this from the beginning. And when did Freak FM start? In 1993. And that sound that we had from Nervous Records, for example, is where we experienced the sounds of Todd Edwards. We was playing it from then. We got them fresh. Imports. The Sample Choir. There's so many that we would play from that era, and Save My Life. We bust them tunes from the Freak stable. Now, many may agree, if you're in a different part of London, you might have said, nah, it was us that did it over here. Well, we all did. But you know what I mean. I'm talking about the perspective of the #1 multi-award winning station. That was the sound of Freak FM. Trust me, that was our sound. We had that Todd Edwards on lockdown, and then it busts. Then, of course, you had the main stage DJs that was out there doing their thing. Todd Edwards would be on their playlist, or their record bag would be filled with it. Tough Jam, Dream Team, to name but a few. We all hammered his sound out because it was just that unique, you know, a producer to take a vocal and turn it into a chord and melodic, and that flow that he had was so smooth. And for years, producers tried to figure out, how did he do that? How did he make that sound out of a vocal? Because we never met him before. He wasn't from our ends. He was from New Jersey. So we never knew. We just played their American sound. And that is what translated as the conduit into UK house and garage. Then later on, UK garage from 2000. That was the coin the phrase from there. However, the sound, it never died. When we expanded our mindset of house and garage, and then there was an outfit called KMA in 1994 created a track called Cape Fear, which changed the dialect, which changed the demograph, which changed the game forever, because that type of sound that we put in just changed it from that 4/4 of Todd Edwards and those sounds of the US, Grant Nelson, Nice and Ripe, Jeremy Sylvester, Paul Benjamin, so many others, Tough Jam, of course. You see, when the bass got darker, the beats got a more harder, more drum and bass influence of jungle was into garage, then we would still play as DJs in the mix a Todd Edwards tune. So today, it's the Maddify section coming up next, and we're going into it. Follow me over here. We're going into this. And again, you can imagine the catalogue is so huge from Todd Edwards. But I'm going to start off with entry number 1 in the Maddify, chosen 4, with a track called Wishing I Were Home, and his first appearance as a DJ and his first DJ gig in the UK at the Time and Envy. He started off with this tune, and I thought it just makes sense. For those that seen that clip, shout out to nothingsorted.com, Mooks, who had that video unlocked, and it's been rinsed out in many times in documentaries. I've used it too, but I always give credit where credit is due. So big up to Mooks for nothingsorted.com. Had that exclusive footage when Todd Edwards touched down on deck number 1 with this tune, and it sounded like this. Entry number 1.
Right now we introduce the alongside lead mixer and producer from the United States of America, the legendary Todd Edwards.
Come on. It takes you back. For those that was there, those that seen the video clip, I'll probably insert it as well inside the edit. Wishing I Were Home, big tune again, but he had a alternative version, as DJs, producers should do, like I've said so many times. If you're playing at big gigs, make sure you got custom dubs. If you're capable of doing it, then do it, because you will sound different to the rest. Definitely. It's very important. And that one there again, that breakdown, is just so special, man. Come on. It's only Todd could do that. And most of the time he made the track his own, right? If it was his own track, it's his own track, his own production. But when it was remixes, you wouldn't even know there was an original to it, because you would say, well, which part of the vocal did it come from, that original? Oh, is this the remix that Todd Edwards did? If you heard the original, it would never sound the same, because that is an architect of sound. That is Todd Edwards. So I'm going back to the beginning, the very beginning, and those tracks that I was talking about is an EP that we used to feature on Freak FM in those days. Every day of the week we would play it. Every mix we would play it. Every set we would play it. Every gig we would play it. In those days, now remember, come closer, I would always say this, right? In those days, pre-95, we could play real smooth house garage, as well as the bassier dub mix, the dub versions. And that is what would bust the place before the big bass tunes came in play. These are the tunes that we used to play
in the smaller clubs, because that's how we started. Hundreds at first, and then it grew to epic proportions of main stages with 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 strong in a venue. But we would play tunes like this: the Sample Choir, The Praise, God in Hand. Todd Edwards presents
on the world famous Nervous record label. If you know, you know. But anyone that listened to Freak would know this was a Freak anthem. Adverts that I used to voice for Freaks in the Manor, I would use this tune. Come on. I don't care what anyone wants to say and change the narrative over the years to big you up for doing your thing because you represented it in your own way. Respect. But you see who bust that EP? Freak, North London. This was our sound. This was our template. This is what we went with. First time I ever heard this tune, though, was a guy that I looked up to when I started off from an MC host on Freak. Then I developed into a DJ. I was always a bedroom DJ, but then I offered me my show and I filled that in, and then it went on from there, and here I am today, right? The rest is history. DJ Hermit, big up Hermit. He's the first one I heard play this tune, and the B-side as well, at the Gas Club for Sunday. Spread love. Yeah, for real. Big up Dominic Spread Love. Big up Norris the Boss Windross. Big up DJ Hermit. Daryl B. All in man there on a Sunday. Yeah. I heard a tape cassette, and that is when I was on Defection as a jungle MC. I heard this set from Hermit, and this is facts and history. I've said it so many times. If you didn't know, I'm telling you now. And I heard this set from the Gas Club with DJ Hermit playing tunes like that. And that is what inspired me to change from jungle into garage. That's facts and history. The Sample Choir.
It's the Garage Report, Pirate Chronicles.
But again, it's like what I'm saying, right? We played these tunes on main stage, man. From the smaller clubs, yes, then it went to the after parties, but the social media of our day was pirate radio, and up and down the UK when it grew with more stations that was playing that house and garage sound of the 90s. This is the sound that we was playing. Yeah, this is facts. We didn't have no big bass tunes at those times. Well, we did, sort of, but we had to just, give that energy, but with tunes like that. And I think it's such a shame for today that you can't play these kind of tunes on a main stage unless it's a specific old school dance that is pre-95, then you can play tunes like that, then the crowd that will be there will be expecting, you know, underground garage like this. Man, so amazing. Anyway, we're moving on to track number 3 now, which again from that same era. And it, again, we bust it. We bust them tunes. Saint Germain, Alabama Blues. This was another anthem from our stables. Todd Edwards dub mix. Level madness. How many times again, you had to be there to know exactly what I'm talking about. Imagine that organic sound that we was playing brand spanking new from the US and breaking in the UK market. Every time we did a show, it was only weekends that we was on as well as pirate stations. Then it became Freak in the Week. Who remembers Freak in the Week? So then we had more DJs and it was more of this type of sound that we would play. And then everyone would try and be the ones to outdo the next one. Have you got the new Todd though? Have you got the new, you know what I mean? Todd is a steeple. He's a pillar in the garage industry, man. You can never ever deny his credibility because from day one, he's been right there. So like I said, there could be so much to the catalogue that I can go through. Let me just go through some of the list here. You know, you got the projects that he did with Tough Jam, Need Good Love, he done the remix there. Tony Lee, that was another big one that, again, later on in the years, he done some different types of styles from what he did and what we knew. Of course, the sample choir there, The Praise, like I played already, Love Will Make Things Better. Feeling Lonely, that was a freak classic on a Sunday morning. Break Smooth, another one I heard from DJ Hermit, big him up again. The Messenger EP with So Real, Main Vibe, Guide My Soul were anthems to the soundtrack of our lives. That is facts. Come on. Save My Life, we bust that. Alabama Blues, we bust that. Are You Sleeping? Come on. Ooh Baby, come on. We bust that, no doubt. So, fourth and final release on the Maddify section that I've chosen out of the wide catalogue. I didn't go any of the newer, later ones in the early 2000s or whatever. I stuck to the 90s because it was the soundtrack to our lives. And this one, I can still play today. If I'm playing out at selected places that you can catch me once in a blue moon, when the terms and conditions are correct, and for me to leave my area and, you know, my studio settings. If I'm playing an old school set, I will play this tune, and it's the way you execute and deliver, but it's always in the bag, so to speak, well, on the hard drive or the USB. As I Am, Todd Edwards, Locked On Records, another fan favorite from the genius that is Todd Edwards. Entry number 4. Doesn't need to go any further. Yeah, round of applause. Round of applause. It don't need to go any further. Come on. Come on. He set a precedence that is unmatched. Nobody can produce like Todd Edwards. No one at all. There are similar type of sounds and we know who they are. However, no one produces like Todd. Let's have it right. Which is the reason why. Because him being the soundtrack to our life, coming up from the very inception of house and garage movement before the UK garage term in 2000, there was this type of sound that I miss playing on main stage, and those clubs will never be replicated. Never could you get the groove that we had back in the 90s, the best of times for house and garage, the best of times for jungle drum and bass, the best of times for UK born and bred music, but also the US had their input as well, that we made it sound like our own, the way we DJ'd and played out up and down the country. Todd Edwards, today, my friend, you are inducted into the Garage Hall of Fame. Huge round of applause. Come on. You're clapping, yes. Clap for the man. Come on, more. Wow, the selection just doesn't get old. And neither does this series, Garage Report series. Yours truly, the host, Maddness KMA. Spell it correct, don't get it twisted. The Maddness KMA. On the platforms, all the links down below in the description. It's everything you need to know right here, the Garage Encyclopedia. And we will not stop inside season 2. There's so much more to go. Leave us suggestions as well down below of who you would like to be featured, who deserves a spot on the foundation level to say that they should be in the Garage Hall of Fame. Well, you let me know. Holler at your boy. Until next time, I'm out.
Pirate Chronicles are here for you and me.